Hello, guys. Once again, welcome back to the Jordane podcast, the Jordane stream, the Jordane live stream, whatever you want to call it. Here we are. We're up. We're over here. We're hanging out. We got another day until it is New Year's. So tomorrow is going to be New Year's Eve, and I've been thinking about a lot of my newer goals and changing up the things that I have been doing and trying to make myself better in the long run. We've come up with a game plan, or I've come up with a game plan. Ralph and I are going to have a conversation about that tomorrow. So be sure to join us for our stream tomorrow while we're talking about, and we're probably going to do it I'm thinking we're probably going to do it pretty early. We're probably going to go around 2 or 3 p.m. just because I want to make sure that we get that out of the way and get that rocking and rolling. So that should be easier. That should be good. We're going to have a lot of good stuff that we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Last night, I watched a couple movies, so I figured I would do a review on that, and I just wanted to see how everybody's doing. So I'm going to jump back on it and see how everybody's going on today. We're going to jump onto the comments real quick before I continue on with the conversation at hand. So we got Bernie, great Caesar's Ghost. Jordane, Amania, running wild. What do you mean Caesar's Ghost? What are you talking about? Lori, what's up, Lori? It's good to see you. Did Rick make it as well, or is he working? Stephanie, great to see you. Georgian, awesome to see you again, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year, guys, if I don't see you guys beforehand, which I do plan on seeing you guys tomorrow. So tomorrow afternoon, probably earlier in the afternoon, we're going to do a little stream talking about our goals for the future for at least 2021. And see what we're going to come up with that. Bernie said, hey, here's a quote. So I watched Major League, and then I watched Major League 2 last night. I haven't got to Major League 3 or the part where it's like back to the I don't understand why. There we go. All right, we're back now. I don't understand why that keeps happening. It's like I have to. It's ridiculous. That just gets complicated. What's up, Barry Jones? How are you, brother? Good to see you. Don't worry, Bernie. I didn't talk about too much of the movie yet because I realized your comment said that the sound went out, and I didn't realize that the damn sound went out. So I'm gonna jump back onto the comments real quick, and then we'll go back into the movie. Stephanie said, hello. Barry, what's up, Barry? How is it going, man? It's good to see you, and Happy New Year. We got a New Year cast going on tomorrow. Craig, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Oops. Knocking over some of my stuff here. I just had some easy food. I had a little bit of snacks before I started the stream because I didn't want to be hungry while we were streaming because then I wouldn't be able to focus. And you won't like it. You will not like me when I can't focus. Barry said, what's up, everybody, and Happy New Year. Craig said, good evening. We got a few comments from Twitch, which they're not really comments. Happy New Year, Terry. Good to see you, brother. The Twitch comments we get spammed a lot on Twitch. Anyway, Barry, good to see you. Jordane, good to see you. Lori said, Rick is here too, LOL. Good. Okay, now you guys see the sound, but is the sound back now? Just give me a yes. If you guys hear the sound and everything's good, just give me a yes so that I know that we can continue on, because I don't want to start and then like not have everything going on. So Bernie said, damn it, your sound went out just as you started Major League. Yeah, exactly. Just like Rick Vaughn's fastball at the beginning of Major League 2. Exactly. Stephanie said, can't hear you. Your sound is gone. All right, guys. Hopefully I caught up now. Yep. All right, I'm seeing the yeses now. You are back now. We're good. Yeah, I don't understand the sound. All I have to do is, whenever the sound goes out, unplug it and plug it back in, and then the connection's good. So I wonder if there's some type of a short going from the soundboard into the computer. But either way, that's something for me to worry about at a later date, not while we're trying to sit here and have a conversation before we start our new journey into 2021. And I hope that everybody's looking forward to 2021, because it's not like we had a lot of good stuff happening in 2020. It's not like we had much of anything happening in 2020, honestly. 2020, like, a lot of people kind of feel like it's been a waste of time. It's been a waste of a year, basically. Thank you, Lori, for saying I'm loving the man cat picture. Yes, the man cat picture, and I'm sorry about your loss for your kitty that you just lost. I saw that your posts about it yesterday, and a couple of days before and stuff. So my condolences definitely go out to you guys, and you know how important these animals are to us. These animals are our family. I mean, look at me. I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing a stream. I'm a professional wrestler, 6'7", 265 pounds, probably at the moment, and I have cute little cuddly cats hanging out with me. So, take what you can get, right? Take what you can get. Anyway, go back to the comments real quick before we start rolling. King Cat squinted to make sound go out until everyone is ready. Exactly. He had to make sure, that 10-minute timer is obviously not long enough to make sure that we have enough people getting here in a timely manner so that they can be respectful and pay their respects to Mancat. You have to pay your respects to Mancat before you do anything, especially when you come up into this house. This is the house of Mancat. Even though Mancat doesn't technically even live here, it doesn't even matter. You have to pay your respects. It's almost like a religion. Did you pray to Jesus? Did you pray to Mancat? I don't really pray to Mancat that much, though, so I'm not even living the way that I'm supposed to be. But yeah, so I watched a couple of movies last night, and I don't necessarily get to watch a lot of movies. So I figured I would kind of do a review of like two of the movies that I watched last night, which was Major League and Major League 2. I have another movie that I wanted to talk about as well, and it was One Flight Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I think it was. It was Jack Nicholson back when he was a little bit younger, and he plays a guy who's like faking that he's going to a convalescent center, or not a convalescent center, but like a crazy house, or a place where they keep people with mental issues. So he went there, and he started going crazy. So if you guys have seen that movie, let's talk about that one as well, because I thought that one that was an interesting movie. It was just a different feel than say like Major League and Major League 2, because those are comedies and those are straight up comedies. So we're trying to we're trying to make sure that those work. Let's see here. I watched Legends of the Fall last night. Such a good movie. I never even heard of Legends of the Fall. I have no idea what Legends of the Fall is, Stephanie. Bernie said, between King Cat, Man Cat, Boy Cat, and Stevie Richards' cats, Odin and Mia, definitely got the cat love cornered, and that's a good thing. Yeah, Stevie Richards has kitty cats that he loves too. That's impressive. And I'm impressed by him going over that. So anyway, yeah, I started to watch a movie last night, and it was made in 1989. So it's a pretty old movie, and it was an interesting one though, because I hadn't seen it in a long time. I remember seeing it. I remember there being bits and pieces. It reminded me of Rookie of the Year. If you guys have ever seen the Disney movie Rookie of the Year, where a little kid gets like some type of a witchcraft done, he gets like some type of witchcraft done to him, and he gets like a really good arm so he can throw like really, really like 90-mile-an-hour fastballs and all that other good stuff. I don't remember mostly, but I remember it was from, I think that era from that around that time. It seems like they were about that time, like Rookie of the Year, Angels in the Outfield, Major League 2, all these baseball movies, and there's probably more. Bull Durham was probably out around that time. I guess the 90s and the early 90s were like really great for baseball movies. That's what it seems like anyway. Yeah, but it's interesting though, because I mean it's all interesting looking. I like looking back on older movies and seeing how they present the world that we lived in at that time, because it's not always the way that people kind of present it. They try to present it the way that you want. And as a comedy movie, that's pretty much what you're getting. You're just getting some silly shit, and you're getting a bunch of silly shit. So yeah, I'll go to the chats real quick before we continue on. Legends of the Fall was a good movie. Lori said that Legends of the Fall is a great movie. Stephanie said it takes place in 1915, Montana, Wyoming. That's Bernie said that's no Disney movie. One of the many movies to watch uncut. Are you saying Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball? Oh God, Harris, don't start a holy war. Oh yeah. No. I was talking about no. I wasn't talking about Major League. I was talking about Rookie of the Year. Is Rookie of the Year? Is that a Disney? That's a Disney movie, right? Rookie of the Year, or maybe I'm thinking Angels in the Outfield. I know Major League. Major League has a quote just like that as well, though, where you say, "Are you saying Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?" Because that was like the voodoo guy in the first one. But anyway, the first one starts off with the Cleveland Indians, and I guess that Cleveland, the town of Cleveland, has not had a very good time of it with their sports team, because I don't think they have a basketball team. But the Browns, you don't even have to say anything. And then the Cleveland Indians. And I think that the Cleveland Indians actually had an opportunity to make it to the postseason, or maybe they did make it to the postseason and they had an opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl. Not the Super Bowl. The World Series. Or maybe they did make it to the World Series and they didn't win. I think that that's what the case was. But since 1948, the Cleveland Indians have not had an opportunity to be back at the World Series since then. So that was a fun part about it, because that curse is still going on. And I know that Boston had a curse like that, where they went so long without any type of championships. But they're like more of a closer rival to the Yankees. But the Yankees are like everyone's rival. Everybody tries to fight the Yankees, because the Yankees are like, they're the largest. I mean, it's just like in pro wrestling. Like pro wrestling was the WWE back in the day. There were like hundreds of different companies, probably more like 30 or 40 different companies running in the country. And they all were trying to compete with New York, because New York is the largest market. So you try to get the largest market taken care of, and that's the most people. It's not only is it the most people, but it's the most diverse group of people too. So you have to go about it differently, because you have a big, wide range of different people who live in that area. So the wrestling was very different in New York, but whatever happened in New York generally spread throughout the country. So if it happened early in New York, a lot of times you would see it kind of spread throughout the country from that point on. And a lot of it not so, though, because in Florida there's still that north-south separation, so a lot of people don't want to consider themselves Yankees and that type of stuff down in Florida. Even though Florida, they don't even quite consider that a southern state per se, but it definitely is. I guess Florida is its own thing, though. Florida is a crazy, just a crazy, weird type of state as it is anyway on its own. So, yeah, Bernie, I already did the Bernie one, so talking about that's no Disney movie, one of the many movies better to watch uncut. Are you talking about Major League, Bernie, or are you talking about yeah, so anyway, Richard Moretti. Hey, champ, just wanted to say hi to you. Hey, Richard, how are you, buddy? It's good to see you. I'm glad that you joined us in here with the chats, and in here with the podcast, and in here with the live stream, or whatever you want to call it. Shamala said, hey, Shamala's here. What's going on, Shy? How are you? Bernie said the Cavaliers only had that LeBron guy for them in basketball. Oh, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I forgot about that. That's true. 1954 was the last World Series champ in Cleveland. They got to Game 7 against the Cubs, who snapped a bigger curse than even the Indians. Yeah, Chicago Cubs was like 1907, right? Something like that. So it is pretty. It's a long one. I guess there are more. I didn't think that Cleveland was one of them that had like one of those long histories, but I'm assuming that the probably Chicago's probably worse, right? I'm sure the White Sox have probably had it, but the Cubs probably haven't had like a good opportunity for a while. But the Cubs just recently had it, right? I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with much of anything recently, so I just wanted to talk about it because it seemed pretty funny. You know, Charlie Sheen plays the old guy who he's a really good pitcher, but he was in prison or he was in jail for like 8 or 9 months or whatever. I don't know how long he was in jail for, but then right out of that, he goes right into the major leagues and start pitching. And I like it because a lot of like the storytelling with the first movie with Major League, it was basically you have this owner of the company or this owner of the team, and she wants to move to Miami. Now, she can't move to Miami if the team is doing very well, but the team has been doing abysmal for the past however long, probably 50 to 60 years at that point in the movie. And so they try to she tries to set it up to the point to where she can have she can get them to lose. And she replaces all of the old team members on there because she figured that they would improve from the year previously to where she was, to where they have to get the new people, and the new people will hopefully do worse than the old people because the old people were there for a little bit, so they get a good idea of how things are going. And now you get the other guys. You get Willie Mays Hayes going in. And a lot of these guys, like, they do the tryouts. They go through everything, and you see the different personality types that are in there. You have, let me see. I don't remember the names of anybody, and I don't remember any actors' names. So I have to look at the list of the cast so that I could remember who is who. So you had, where was the other guy at? Let me see. It was, yeah, you had Willie Mays Hayes, which was Wesley Snipes. But that's another problem, too, because in the first one, Willie Mays Hayes is Wesley Snipes. But in the second one, Willie Mays Hayes is Omar Epps. And they're very different people. I mean, it just is what it is. But I figured from that point, so I was like, oh, man, how come they didn't get Wesley Snipes? Oh, that makes sense. Wesley Snipes was in this comedy at first before he was like a really big star because they only had like a couple of movies before that actual movie. But then after that movie came out, and there was probably a couple of movies before that too because I think he was in New Jack City. And it was in a couple of movies around that time, Demolition Man and those types of things. So I guess that going in for the second movie, he wasn't able to do it. Or maybe he was like, fuck that, I'm not going to do it. But they do throw a little bit of Wesley Snipes type of barbs in it because Willie Mays Hayes in the second movie became like a movie star, and he's like an action movie star. And it's kind of like, I guess they're playing off of what Wesley Snipes actually became. And it's pretty interesting. It's pretty good. Yeah, did you like Major League, Darnell? I enjoyed it. I thought that both of those were pretty good. Still holds up pretty well. Bernie said, "Hey there, Willie Mays Hayes, hit like Mays, run like Hayes. You may run like Hayes, but you hit like shit." He does hit like shit. But that was the great point about the different character flaws. So you had Charlie Sheen's character who was he came out to the song "Wild Thing" because I guess he's a wild pitcher, and and his problem was he didn't have much control. Wild Thing, get it? Then you had let me go back to the comments. Jake Taylor, who was the catcher. Then you had Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn. Roger Dorn, who's like a shortstop, and let's see, Willie Mays Hayes is Wesley Snipes, Bob Uecker, Pedro Serrano. Pedro was an interesting one too because he was all into voodoo. That's a great thing about the Pedro character too because the Pedro character, like, he's into voodoo and he has like this voodoo doll in his locker. and he says like a prayer to it every time, and he has sacrifices. And I guess he doesn't have sacrifices. He has his gifts or sacraments. He gives these gifts to what was the? Do you guys remember the doll? Do you guys remember the voodoo doll's name? I don't remember the voodoo doll's name, but it was damn it. It was Pedro. It was Pedro's guy, but he was the Cuban. But he practiced voodoo there. And what I loved about it was, whenever they started doing pretty well, when the team actually started doing well, and this is after getting a whole bunch of different bumps in the roads from the owner of the company or the owner of the team. She wants them to lose, so she's sabotaging them as they go, and she like turns off, like she makes it to where they have like a shitty plane to travel in. And what's that? Jobu is the voodoo doll. Jobu. I gotta say my prayers to Jobu. Oh, thanks, Bernie. Bernie just got it in. Jobu. It's nice to steal Jobu's rum. And there was a pitcher in the first Major League who did steal Jobu's rum, but I didn't see if that ever came back to haunt him. Though I was hoping that would come back to haunt him, but it did. It didn't seem like it did. I didn't think that he really was. Jobu. Say your prayers to Jobu, man. Make sure that you're good. Darnell said, yeah, Major League was awesome. Major League, not so much. I think you probably mean Major League 2 or Major League 3 back to the minors, which probably isn't that good anyway either. I've read reviews on it, and it says that it is horrendous. So since I'm doing this review now, I'm not going to have time to do the third movie later. So we just kind of we got to deal with that as we can deal with it, Yeah, but Jobu, I like that. I like Pedro because he would be praying to Jobu before the games and trying to like get everything ready. But then they were in this plane that was a really crappy plane because the boss or the owner of the team decided that, well, I need them to not be comfortable. I need them most likely to I need them to be as uncomfortable as possible so that they can lose these games. But they keep winning. And Jobu was actually on the plane, and as it was getting rattly and it was getting shaky, because these are old, really crappy old gates or old planes, and he felt like he was going to crash. And you see him praying to Jesus, and then another guy during the movie was like, oh, see, yeah, you pray for Jesus, not really voodooing, and so it was pretty funny. Yeah, Darnell, Major League 2 and 3, yep, that is exactly. Major League 2 was Major League 2. The only problem is Major League 2 was basically a rehash of Major League 1. They just redid it all. All they did was, okay, we got to rebuild these guys after spring training, and instead of we're getting them fresh off the boat from prison, from wherever Jobu came from wherever the catcher came from. I guess the catcher was there for a while, and there were like two of the guys were there for a while or whatever, and so they keep going, and part 2, it's like the same thing, but they have different things that they have to overcome. So they still want to become World Series champions, even though the game's not even in the World Series. Yeah. So hold on one sec. I have one. Hold up one sec, guys. I have hashtag IHTP. So I'm going to be back. I'm going to go do that real quick, and then I'll be RB. Okay, I'm back. How was that? Was I quick? Was I fast? Or was I slow? I feel like I was pretty quick, even though I didn't have good old Jimbo to entertain you while I was going. I'm going to jump back to the chat real quick while we're rolling. Yeah, Major League was great. I like your pictures. Thank you, Leanne. Joe Boo. Bernie said, hey, bartender, Joe Boo needs a refill. Clunk. He hits Harris in the back of the head. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Darnell said the Allstate guy. What do you mean the Allstate guy? Major League 2, yep. And then Bernie said 1 was great, 2 was good, 3 was took place in Camden Yards. Really? That's fascinating. They did in Camden Yards? I thought that they filmed in Milwaukee. I guess with those types of things, they're all over the place anyway as it is, so it doesn't really matter at that point because eventually they're just going to fly you to wherever they need to fly you to, and they're going to take care of whatever they need to take care of. Yeah, but Major League, like, it still holds up pretty well, though, like, as a pretty funny movie. It's kind of like, I agree with old Bernie's comments, because old Bernie's comment said that the first one was good. The second one, it's okay. Well, I guess he said the first one was great, 2 was good, 3 was watchable at best. I would say that 2 was watchable at best, because once you... It sucks though because one of the player, and it doesn't really suck. I guess it's just a movie we're talking about, so it's not like it's that big of a deal or anything. But one of the storylines from the first one was the owner wanting the baseball team to do bad. So one of the other players bought the company or bought the team from her, and then eventually she ended up buying it back. And she's still the owner in part 2. And part 2's kind of a replay of her wanting them to lose, which I would think that since this point, it just didn't make sense to me because, like, okay, well, you want them to lose. Well, now you see that they're not. And now you see that they're doing really good. They're doing, like, a phenomenal job. They're doing a phenomenal job, like, actually winning games, doing all this other good stuff. I don't understand why the character would still want them to lose, because it's not like, okay, so they almost went to the playoffs, or they did go to the playoffs the year before. They're in contention. Why would you even want to try to rebuild and restart in somewhere else? But it wasn't even clear about that in the second movie. It wasn't even clear about like what the storyline was. Why did she want them to lose on the second one and all that other good stuff? It was weird. I don't know, like, what makes a movie really good, especially like a comedy? Is it the story or is it the comedy? Because I've seen some funny movies that had shit stories, but they were still funny movies. But they're not really that fun to watch. But the good story, like the good movies with good stories, yeah. But the good movies with good stories, they're not as funny because they can't be like as random and everything. But they're still good. Like, I don't know. I guess the best movies are like a combination of both, where you get a little bit of one or the other. But I don't know. That's an interesting one. Dennis Haysbert, a.k.a. the Allstate guy, played the voodoo guy. What? No way. That's him? The voodoo guy is the Allstate guy? I had no idea. What? Thank you, Darnell. Man, you learn something new every day. I had not a clue about that. Jeez, that's pretty badass, though. I had no clue. Huh. That makes sense, because he definitely does talk differently for the Allstate commercials than he does for that show that he was or for the movie. Huh. Fascinating. That's pretty fascinating. I'll take that. Let's see. Are we still good? Yep, we're still good. Okay, cool. Dennis Haysbert, a.k.a. the Allstate guy, played the voodoo guy. That's badass, though. I had no idea. I'm glad to see that he's still working and he's still doing his thing. You got to stay out there and do your thing as well as you can. I mean, I guess the coronavirus isn't really going to mess up too much of the insurance companies and that type of stuff. So, yeah, but Major League, you can see that Major League was the legit movie. Major League 2. That one felt like they were just trying to capitalize on the success of the previous movie, and it made sense because I don't think that the sequel did as well. I don't think that the sequel did anything close to compared to what they were wanting out of it anyway. And Stephanie said, "Listen to his voice the next time Allstate commercial comes on." And we're talking about the Allstate guy who played the voodoo guy in Major League and Major League 2. I had no idea, dude. I had not a clue about that. That's pretty funny, though, because looking back on it now, it makes sense. Now I can see it, but I don't think I would have put that together if you guys didn't tell me. Would you have? That's pretty. Yeah, it's an interesting one, you know. But it was good. I remember. I'm gonna have to do like a bunch more of the baseball movies now, just so that I can stay with the theme. Because I'm gonna have to come up with some comment for next week. As content is for next week as well. But this week's going to be taken care of. Thursday, which is tomorrow, we'll be talking about our goal podcast. We'll be talking about, well, it'll be Ralph and I sitting here having a conversation about what we want to do, how we want to better ourselves, what we need to work on now, because we have so much to work on. And that's the thing. That's the thing. It's always a work in progress. We're always a work in progress. But that's why I made it a point to make sure that I'm doing these streams every single day, because it keeps me on my P's and Q's. It keeps me on top of my stuff, and it makes me have to stay on top of my schedule. If I'm staying on top of my schedule, I'm doing really good. But if I get off track of my schedule, it's a lot easier for me to get off track on everything, really. I start getting off track on everything if I get off track with my normal schedule. So the schedule, and I'm starting to realize that, and I've read a lot of people, like a lot of high success people, talk about that, and they talk about how important having a daily schedule is. And it's not like, okay, I'm going to go to work and then I'm going to do these things that I do every day at work. It's, I'm going to plan out this day and I'm going to stick to this day. And if you plan out this day and you stick to this day, you're going to be way more efficient with the hours that you use throughout the day than you were if you didn't do that. So it's yeah, but that's what we're going to be talking about, a lot about that type of stuff tomorrow. Yeah, and Darnell said Major League came out in '89, a good year for movies. What other movies came out in '89? I know Major League was a good one. I don't really know. I'm not much of a movie buff, as you guys know. I'm not too familiar with the years that movies came out, and what they were doing, what they were playing, and those types of things. Barry Jones said, I watched Beyond the Mat last night. I watched Beyond the Mat, I think it was last week, either this week or last week. And Beyond the Mat was, it's fun to look back on it now, because I've been wrestling for almost 15 years now, or probably over 15 years now, I think. Actually over 15 years, maybe like 16 years. And I started when I was 17, so go figure. Beyond the Mat was interesting, though, because a lot of it definitely seems like a work. Most of it seems like a work. Most of the wrestling shoots that I watch now seem like work still. They all seem like works. Everything's a work. Life is a work. Everything's a work. It's like whenever I was in WWE Developmental, one of the most important things that Dr. Tom Pritchard told me was, you are what you are. Your perception is your belief. Your your perception is reality. People see, like, what they perceive is what they believe. So if you can get people to perceive something, they're going to believe it. It's just like the Art of War. In that, Sun Tzu says something like, if you're weak, appear strong, or if you're strong, appear weak. Perception is reality. So if they perceive you to be weak, but you're actually strong, their perception is wrong, but your reality is that you're a lot stronger. So it's one of those old school tricks. One of those old school tricks they all did. And but the one thing that I didn't like about Beyond the Mat was when Mick Foley had his family sit there and watch his brains get bashed in. And I know that, Mick Foley has a reputation for being a nice guy in the professional wrestling business. He thinks that people like him. People love Mick Foley. I love Mick Foley. I love, Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love. I love him as a performer. But I really kind of lost, like, as an adult now, when I was a kid, it was like, oh, fascinating to see. Oh my goodness, his children are crying because it's real, guys. It's so real. But now I'm kind of frustrated with it, because now when I'm watching it, I feel like he set that up. He was like, I know that my family's going to be here. I'm probably going to be able to get a reaction from them, because I know my wife doesn't like seeing me get my head bashed in. Whose wife does? Whose wife wants? You know what? It would have been hilarious, Ralph, if on Beyond the Mat, whenever The Rock was sitting there banging Mick Foley's like head in, and you remember like seeing the legendary footage of his children sitting there watching, and they were like, "Oh no, Daddy! Oh!" And then like each time he gets hit, the mother just grabs him, and she's like, "Oh, I can't do it! Oh, I can't do it!" You remember that? You've never seen Beyond the Mat? Oh, okay. So you got to watch Beyond the Mat. You've had to have seen it. Anyway, there's a spot in the movie during the movie. Maybe it's on Netflix. I don't know if it's on Netflix. It might be on YouTube. Whatever. But you definitely got to watch it because you'll see, and then you'll see that like his family is in front row, and he had his hands tied behind his back, and The Rock is hitting him in the head with a steel chair. Like banging him in the head. And he's just walking into it like this. And it's like, yeah. Oh my God. And it's like, dude, what the fuck are you like for pay-per-view buys? They ain't even give you that big of a percentage, man. Your brain's going to be gone. Oh my God. He's got to do something, but does he have to do that? Does he have to do like, oh, that's why it's so hard to listen to him now because he's starting to lose it. I hope he's not losing it. Mick Foley, hang in there, man. Don't lose your brain, brother. Don't lose your brain. But that movie, yeah, Beyond the Mat, you just like reminded me because I did not like that part of the movie. Yes, I agree, Barry Jones. I think that Terry Funk's real. Terry Funk is Terry Funk. And, you know, Mick Foley is real to a certain extent, but I think that he was setting it up because he wanted some drama in this documentary, this live documentary that he has. And he's going to get some traction from that as well. And don't forget, like at the time, I'm pretty sure his first book was out. So he wrote a book already, and he's trying to get all of this extra. So he already gets a lot of cover and exposure from WWE. But if you get exposure from other people other than just the WWE, your book sales are going to grow. So the more you reach out and the more outreach you do, the more different people you're getting, the more people you're going to get interested in seeing your stuff. So it just feels like it was a really good opportunity. And hey, man, maybe if I had a wife and kids at that point in my career and I had my hands tied behind my back and it was maybe if it was in the 80s, I would have did that. Now you just know too much about how all this stuff affects everybody. And you know that it's not worth it in the long run to be banging your brains in like that. Because you're going to lose yourself as a person. Like, it's just hard for me to watch it now. Because, like, I see The Rock just, like, swinging on his, and he's just taking it. And Mick Foley, God love him, he's just has his hands on his back, and he's just headbutting right into it. And I've taken some chair shots like that back when I first started. You remember those days back in Mossy Head? I've taken some chair shots where they were swinging that shit hard as they could, and I just gritted my teeth and pow! And it's one of those weird things, taking a chair shot, because you just grit your teeth, duck down, and just wait for the bang, because you hear everything before you feel anything. You hear it, and then you're like, okay, that happened, and you fall down, and you're like, okay, am I okay? Okay, what's going on? I just got hit in the head. Everything hurts, but I'm okay. It's weird. Everything's up, but you're okay. It's just like that. You know, like you get used to whenever you fall down, you get used to doing like a wellness check. Be like, okay, everything feels okay. It was like the other day I was telling the story on the stream how I was going for a walk, and then I told you about it, where I was walking on those balance beams, and then I fell off, and then I fell over to the other side, and the other side it threw me off balance, and being off balance, it made me walk all the way over, and I kind of off balance and just tripped all the way into the back. But whenever I did that, like the training that I had just going loose, I just went loose with it, and I just let it happen instead of trying to stop it and try to put my arms out and break an arm or tear a shoulder or anything like that. It helped. It definitely helps, but you know, it's just one of those things. I've seen Beyond the Mat a number of times. I wasn't booked in my Dennis Stamp voice. Exactly. Dennis Stamp. He's a wrestler in the documentary. He's like one of Terry Funk's. You know who Terry Funk is, right? Yeah. Terry Funk is he's one of his best friends, but he's not like a well-known wrestler. He's just been around. And Terry Funk wants him to be on his show. He wants him to be at his retirement show. And Dennis Stamp is like, I'm not coming. I'm not booked.
And Terry's like, come on, man, just come because I want you to come. I want you to be there. You're my friend, and I want you to be there. He's like, Terry, I can't go to a wrestling show. I'm not booked. But I don't listen to that shit because if I'm not booked, I'm still going to show up and hang out, But that was Dennis's thing, and during the documentary, you got to watch the documentary because you just know it's wrestling. You'll get it. But Dennis Stamp is he's an older guy, and finally they convinced him to be like a referee, so he was finally booked on the show and that type of stuff. But it's in wrestling, it's like a big thing where people are like, oh, I'm not booked, I can't make it. I'm not booked, I can't make it. Dennis Stamp is a legend in the wrestling business because of that documentary. Only because of that documentary. It's not like people would know who Dennis Stamp is right now. I barely know who Dennis Stamp is. Oh, shit. What's up, Ronald Towns? Ronald Towns in here hanging out. Barry Jones said he is well known as a prelim in Georgia. Ah, okay. Does he still wrestle? Or is he too old for all that now? Hopefully he's too old for all that now. I mean, I'd hate for him to have to, be trying to wrestle whenever his body's breaking down like that. That's one of the harder aspects of the professional wrestling business, guys. We all want to try to have something that we can fall back on. We don't want to fall on to nothing and not have anything going on, Yeah, Ronnie T's in the house. Bernie, you got it right, brother. Yeah, but the Major League was good. Beyond the Mat was good. That's a different flavor, though. Still fun. Still good stuff. Still great. It's great stuff to have, just to be able to enjoy and keep it rolling. Do you guys have any Ronald sees Bernie. Yeah, I like seeing everybody chatting. Oh no, he Stamp just recently passed away in March 2017. Dang. I think he has passed, I believe. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Passed away March 17th.
But just say, yeah, was it March 17th? This month? Damn.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Or this year, I mean. Not my, yeah, you know what I mean. Would like to see him versus Action Mike Jackson. Action Mike Jackson. Who's Action Mike Jackson? Will I be able to YouTube Action Mike Jackson and see who Action Mike Jackson is, or is that somebody that you don't get access to? Because we're YouTube kids here, and we all have to worry about YouTube, YouTube and Facebook. But yeah, those movies are pretty good. I would definitely recommend Major League. Would you recommend Major League, Ralph?
Oh yeah.
Major League's a good one. Major League is definitely a good old school movie. Funny, a bunch of funny, like ridiculous things. They're, and it's a good feel-good story because it's a good underdog hero's journey type story, and it's always fun. But I love the cast of characters because it's more about like the writing's good, but the people who actually are the funny ones. Those are the ones that get me. I love the funny people. Yeah, Beyond the Mat with the old Dennis Stamp. Man, we should do an episode on Beyond the Mat where I'm just sitting here talking about Beyond the Mat all day. I could do like a 2-hour episode on Beyond the Mat, honestly. Stephanie said Major League was good. Yeah, I think Major League was good. Overall, it was still good. I'd still recommend a Major League. I would not recommend Major League Part 2, though. Because Major League 2, once you've seen the first one, the second one, and here's another thing, too, and this is a weird thing for me. I hate when new actors take over a character that's already, you know what I mean? Like it's already been, they're already being done by a person. So if you can't get that person, I don't feel like that it's that character anymore. You got to start all over. You got to start like the story all completely over. But they didn't. Yeah, but they did that with Major League 2, and they had like the same guy. They had Omar Epps come in there for Wesley Snipes. And no offense to Omar Epps, but Omar Epps is no Wesley Snipes, And Omar Epps is probably funnier overall than Wesley Snipes, but Wesley Snipes, I think, has a little bit more of everything. I think he has more of the all of the above type flavoring, and Omar Epps is more of just like a funny guy, because I think that old Wesley Snipes could do both. And who didn't like Blade? You like Blade, right? Yeah. Blade was a great movie. Barry Jones said Mike is in his 70s and still going. Oh, hell yeah. Ronald Town said Beyond the Mat was really good. Yeah, I loved Beyond the Mat. 1 and 2 are good. One more rewatchable than 2. Yes, exactly. 1 is definitely more rewatchable than 2. 2 wasn't that good. 2 wasn't that good. 2 was just a rehash of the first one, and that was the annoying thing about it, because I watched them back to back, so that probably didn't help. And you gotta remember, you gotta think about the way that these movies were done. I think that Major League was done in '89, and then Major League 2 was done in '94. So it was 5 or 6. It was 5 or 6 different years, 5 or 6 years separated from the first one. Now, I did hear Ronald Town said, I didn't like Blade after the second one. Yeah, I fell off after the second one, too. Did you watch the second one, the second Blade?
I watched all 3 in the series.
Oh, there was a third. There was a third one? Was the third one with Triple H, or was that the second one?
That was the third one.
The third one had Triple H? Okay, I've seen them all then. Because I just remember, I've seen movies, but then I've seen them with Triple H, but I probably wouldn't have seen part 3 if I didn't see part 2. But I can only right now remember part 1. But I was doing that last night with Major League because I couldn't remember the movies. I couldn't remember them until I start, and then it starts coming back, and it's like, oh man, I've seen this so many times. This is the oldest shit movie. I've already seen it. But we'll jump back onto the comments real quick before we jump on out of here. Lisa said, like Bob Armstrong said, he keeps wrestling till his death, and he did. You damn right. You damn right. We have a lot of guys who do that in the professional wrestling business. It's tough, and I think that the best thing that we can do is keep wrestling till our death. What else? I mean, unless you want to retire earlier, but I don't want to retire earlier than that. That sounds fun. Luthez wrestled until he died. He was almost in his 80s. Not the best wrestling, but he was still wrestling. He was still traveling wrestling. Huh?
Didn't he start late too?
No. Buddy Rogers started a little bit later than Luthez, but Buddy Rogers started when he was an adult. I think he was 27, 28. But he never got over until he was 33, 34. And that was whenever Buddy Rogers really got big. Most of his the big career stuff for him was his later 30s, early 40s. And then he kind of towards the early 40s, he kind of fell off because, injuries, and you get older, and technology wasn't as good back then either. Then Ronald Town said, I didn't like Blade after the second one. Oh, okay, I saw that. Darnell, you need your butt whipped. LOL. Action Mike Jackson had wrestled in Southeast for a very long time, and he is still wrestling. Darnell, listen, I know the name. If I saw pictures of Action Mike Jackson, I'm sure I know who it is. You got to show me some pictures, man. I'm sure I know who Action Mike Jackson is, but I don't know if, what's that?
That's the Action Mike Jackson on Impact.
On the left?
Yeah, the older one.
Oh, yeah, okay. When was this? 8 months ago. I love those old guys. Johnny Swinger promised to bring in a young buck named M. Jackson. That's pretty awesome. Johnny Swinger doing his thing, too. And this was while Impact was on Axis. That's cool, man. So Ralph just looked up good old Action Mike Jackson for me. And he still moves damn good. Holy shit. Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. No. I'm Action Mike Jackson. Hold on now. How old is my Action Mike Jackson? How old is he? Because, all right, look, guys, I'm going to show y'all something. Look at that. Now watch this. He's about to do a head scissor takeover. He looks old as shit, though. I know you can't really see that well, but he looks old, man, and he's moving so well. That's crazy impressive to me. And he just did a dive. Man, you just showed me, dude. I feel like I should have put this on video now, because this is Action Mike Jackson's a shit, dude. You got me way more. And I've never met him before, too. I've never met Action Mike Jackson, but I'm very impressed with Action Mike Jackson. That's badass. And Ronald Town said, I fell asleep on the third one, shaking my head. Blade 3 sucked. Yeah, it seems like everybody doesn't like Blade 3. Ronald Towns. Then there was After the Death. Then there's After Death Wrestling. Exactly, After Death Wrestling. Lisa, I hope y'all have a great new year. If I do see y'all before them, line from Front Row Ladies from Bama. Yes, we love you. We love you. I love you, front row ladies. Y'all always have my back, and I always need you to have my back because, you know, it's a cutthroat world, guys. It's a cutthroat world. Barry Jones said, another legend is Cheek Donovan. He is probably close to 72. Yeah, I've met Cheek Donovan a lot of times before. He was a very impressive one. Cheek Donovan was a badass one to meet because whenever I first started wrestling, and, you know, obviously he's been around for so long. He started before Flair. Flair was a young boy to Cheek Donovan. Cheek Donovan's been around for so long. Lisa said, yep, Barry. They all getting old, and I remember when I was young, too. Darnell, yeah, he can still go, Action Mike Jackson. He damn sure. No, man, he can go. He can go, though. He can go. That's what's impressive. That's what's really impressive about that guy. Mike Jackson can go, dude. I had no idea. We always have your back. Thank you, Lisa. I always love you guys having my back. I need you guys. But Cheek Donovan's good, but I've never seen Cheek Donovan moving the way that I just saw Action Jackson move. Action Jackson just did a head scissor takeover and then a dive. It was a house show dive, but a dive nonetheless to the outside, which is crazy impressive for how old he is. I mean, he looks older. Can you look up and see how old Action Mike Jackson is, Ralph, just so that I can harp on a little bit more? Watch this guy be 50 years old. If this guy's 50 years old, I'm going to be pissed off because I'm going to be like, now he just looks older than what he is. So he just aged faster. So, of course, he can still move.
70 years old.
Whoa! Holy shit. Really? Action Mike Jackson, the same one that you just showed me, the video of him on Impact Wrestling, wrestling Johnny Swinger, doing all this crazy shit. Birmingham, oh my God. I love my Southern wrestlers, man. Y'all are some wild motherfuckers. Y'all don't quit. Literally, y'all do not quit. Damn, that's so badass, dude. I didn't know. I feel like such a fool that I didn't know anything about Action Mike Jackson. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. Lisa said they need to bring him into Barnesville so you can see him. Yeah, Paul, they can't make us mad. I know. They can't handle it. They do make us all mad. But you know, it's just what happened? What did I miss? What did I do?
Yeah, they can handle it.
I'm just going with the flow, baby. I'm just going with the flow, you know, doing my natural stream thing as we keep them rolling, and you know. But to finish up the major league talk before we jump off of here. The major league, apparently, and now this is old news because this was right before or right after old Charlie Sheen had his issues. You know, like the tiger blood, he had AIDS and all this other good stuff. I remember it was in the news, but I remember that like he was all over the place for a while because he was having like all kinds of like crazy mental issues. But then he ended up cleaning up, or maybe he didn't clean up. Maybe I just don't know, and we just haven't been paying attention to him. I have no idea. But apparently they were talking about making a new major league, and this major league would be based off of Ricky Vaughn. Was his name Ricky Vaughn? Wild Thing. Yeah, Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn, which was the pitcher that Charlie Sheen acted as in Major League. And they're going to bring him back for like 20 years later, where he's trying to get back into the league. So that would be an interesting storyline. I don't think they're going to do it now, but you never know. And it was funny. It was funny too because I was reading a little bit about Major League earlier, and Charlie Sheen said that he did steroids to get ready for the film because he was such a big not wrestling fan. Yeah, no shit, right? He was such a big baseball fan. He felt like he would be doing it a disservice if he didn't come in and like look the part. So he like got on some stuff that would made him like look bigger and thicker. And yeah, but it's funny though because whenever I looked at him during the movie, I don't remember thinking he was on shit. I remember just thinking he just looked like a regular skinny dude. Like, but pitchers don't really look like the most athletic players either. Like, you'll see a lot of the pitchers with like big bellies hanging out. So, it depends on the person, I guess. But Tara, what's up, Tara? Good to see you. I'm glad that you joined in with our little chats. Tara said, I'm going to assume Mike Jackson is in his 70s, and he had to be 60 when I worked for him 10 to 15 years ago. Yeah. What was it, 71? He's 70 flat, Tara. He is 70 years old, which is super impressive. It's super impressive not to be wrestling. I can show you some footage. I might actually do this now. We might just cover old wrestlers for a stream because now you guys got my little brain working. But I have some footage of Lou Thez. YouTube has some footage of Lou Thez wrestling whenever he was in his 60s and 70s, and he was not moving as well as Action Mike Jackson was. I don't know, and it could have been style because Lou Thesz's style was way more much more athletically based. So he was probably harder on his body. I don't know, though. I don't know anything about Action Mike Jackson. Maybe he just has phenomenal genetics. Maybe he's just, one of those guys who do not age. He's just one of those freaks. You always get those types of freaks. He's like the LeBron, or I guess LeBron. It would be LeBron if LeBron played until he was old. I guess like Brett Favre. Brett Favre played till he was old. Brett Favre was old. LeBron's getting old. He's getting there. Who else? Tom Brady. Tom Brady's old. He's not getting there. He's old as shit. For the NFL, he's like in his 40s. A 35-year-old quarterback in the NFL is pretty old, and he's in his 40s. So that's a crazy one at that, Good night, Lisa. We'll see you later. Rick, good to see you, brother. Rick said Field of Dreams is a great movie and one of my favorite baseball movies. I might have to check out Field of Dreams. Is that the There's No Crying in Baseball? Or is that the If You Build It, They Will Come? I don't know which movie that is. John Buxton said, is that the same Mike Jackson that wrestled back in Mid-South wrestling territory in the 80s? Yes, John Buxton. That is the same Mike Jackson who's been around. He's 70 years old. He's been around for a long time. I'm assuming he probably started in his teens. We'll just assume that he started in his 20s. He's been around for 50 years. So if he started in his 20s, but most likely back then, if I started at 17, I'm sure that they probably were starting younger than that. I know some people who started wrestling a lot longer. I know people now currently who've started wrestling and they're like 13 or 14 years old. They got a long way to go, but it's just one of those things. But yeah, that's a fascinating one right there, man. That's the same one. That's crazy. Bernie, I missed your comment, buddy. He said loved Mike Jackson and Denny Brown for junior heavyweight title in the NWA Crockett days. Crockett's definitely one of the old school good ones. Lisa, good night. Stephanie said Major League was one of his first movies. Was that? Are you talking about Wesley Snipes? That might have been the Wesley Snipes stuff. Lisa said that would be a great show, Paul. If we're watching older wrestlers, we're going over like who the we could make it a mission. We could make it like we could try to figure out like who is like the top 3 pro wrestlers above the age of 65. And it can be from any era. It could be from any era. Like we can take Action Mike Jackson now, who's 70. You got to at least be 65 and up. 65 and up. Because I know a lot of wrestlers that wrestle into their 50s. It's a different type of business. It's not completely athletically based. The wrestling does get worse if you don't practice and you don't get better, though. Rick said, yeah, build it, they will come. Yeah, Kevin Costner. Yep. Stephanie said Kevin Costner was in Field of Dreams. Great movie. Kevin Costner. Yep, I'm going to check that out. No Charlie Sheen. Yeah, I heard that Platoon was pretty good, though. I haven't seen Platoon yet. There's a lot of old movies that I have not seen yet. So I feel like I need to I feel like there's like I'm going to have to get to that point too. So, yeah, the Major League stuff is going to be cool. I don't think that so I think the Indians went to the Super Bowl. I can't. I know the difference, guys. It's sports bowl. I know the difference. World War series. The World War series. That was World War 1 and 2, by the way. It was a series. World War 1 and 2. We won. America. Platoon was great. I think that the Indians were going to the World Series in 2016, and they got good old Charlie Sheen to do it. So James D. Scott, what do you mean Hogan was one of the what? Lisa Nolan said, what about Tennessee Stud Fullers? I know about the Fullers, but I need to watch more of the Fullers stuff. Bernie, you need to recommend me some of the Fullers stuff. If you have any Fullers stuff to watch, please tell me some good stuff to watch. I don't want to go through and watch a bunch of bad stuff, which I'm sure that most of it isn't bad. Bernie coming in with the facts saying the Indians won division ending ML1 and won LCS ending ML2. What year was that? Was that 2016? Either way, I know that they brought in Charlie Sheen for those episodes. They brought Charlie Sheen in for those, not for those episodes, but for that playoff, because they were like, oh, we want to get a little bit of that, that movie magic that we had when you guys won it the first time, not from the 1940s, from the old. The actual real life team. Who knows, guys? Who knows? All I know is we're just here hanging out, trying to figure out how life is going to be in the future, in the next couple of months, in the next couple of years. Jerry Stubbs. Now, Lisa, I do love Jerry Stubbs. I'm definitely familiar with Jerry Stubbs. Bernie said 2 movies, 2016, real Indians faced Cubs in the World Series. Yes, exactly. Oh man, my comments are catching up. Did I miss any? I don't think so. But I had to restart it. So I think we're still good though. Well, it looks like we're still good. That's no worries. Yeah, guys. So if you guys, Tara, I was born in '87. We were just talking about that earlier. The movie Major League came out in '89. And I was born 2 years before that. So take a guess or try to do the math, if you can do the math with that and figure out how old I am. But this has been a good show. Guys, please make sure that and I keep forgetting this at the beginning, like, comment, share, subscribe. All that other good stuff, all the YouTube stuff, all those things that anytime you watch a normal YouTube video, when they say like, comment, share, oh, hi there. Thanks for watching our video. Can you like, comment, or share? Like, comment, and share, guys. Help us out. What's that? Oh, what was the joke? I like jokes. Yeah. And then Darnell said the Fullers had the Pensacola territory back in the day. Yes, I know. The Pensacola territory was a dream, though, because they were right on the beach. And that's my hometown. No, Pensacola is not my hometown, but that's my home area, pretty much, Missed the early conversations. You many years left. Thank you, Tara. Hopefully so. We're going to be seeing actually in 2021 exactly how far I can take my wrestling career, because I've got a bunch of I have a bunch of things in line that I cannot talk about yet. But there's a reason why I'm building all this stuff up. There's a reason why I'm making sure that my internet presence is here. There's a reason why we're doing all this stuff. But you guys already know that. Y'all already know the game. Y'all know what's up. Y'all just like hanging out. And I like hanging out too. But yeah, the Fullers had the Pensacola territory. And if you ever listen to Ron Fuller's podcast, you should totally check it out. It's badass. It's awesome. It's the best. Tara, missed the early conversation. You have many years left. Thank you, Tara. Barry Jones, great show as always. Look forward to everyone. Absolutely, Barry. You know how it is, brother. Barry, we're good, but we're about to jump off here because we have to have more for tomorrow. So tomorrow it's going to be Ralph and I talking about our New Year's goals, our goals for 2021. Probably some more of our goals that we want to be doing, that we want to be working on in the next few years, and all that other good stuff. So. Make sure you join us. We're probably going to be doing it about 2 or 3 p.m. tomorrow because we're going to lift weights. Let's lift weights a little bit later tomorrow. So we'll lift weights. Maybe. I don't know if you're allowed to. I forgot about that. So we're probably going to lift weights a little bit later tomorrow, and then we'll do our podcast early tomorrow. We'll do the podcast early tomorrow. Well, I'm an idiot sometimes, Ralph. I can't help it, especially whenever I'm live. We're going live. We're going live. Thank you, Thomas. Kick-ass stream as always on the way home from work. Good talking to you guys. We love you guys. Miss you guys. We'll see you all on the flip side. You guys know how it is. Guys. Can I stop saying guys so much? Jeez Louise. Sometimes I annoy myself. I'll listen back to these things, and I'll hear me repeating myself whenever I don't have something to say. So I'll say something like, oh, yeah, you can't beat that. Because you can't beat that. It's like something that I'll throw out there because I don't know, because I don't have anything to say, so I feel like something has to be said. And there's other things that I say too, but I haven't been I haven't checked it out recently, though. But anyway, guys, we'll see you all later. Thank you all for joining me. We'll see you all tomorrow. Happy New Year. Happy Christmas. Happy days are all ahead of us. Let's keep it moving. Keep it struggling. And always remember,